Hi, Lainey Dolphin again from the Dream Interpretation Center in Montreal. Here I am with another dream to help you understand the answer that you get in the dream, because we are problem solving in our dreams, and the solution that you need to something that's bugging you comes to you in your unconscious before it gets to your conscious, so you can propel your problem solving skills. And here is a great example of that. So sometimes the dream is giving you a direct solution to an issue, and sometimes it just wants to point you to something that you're feeling, or, just gives you different suggestions about what you might want to be looking at. So here's an example of a woman who came to me, and she said that it was the winter time. In the dream, it's the winter time, and she's standing at a window in her home looking out at the swimming pool, and she sees Russians coming with their skates, and the Russians are going to go skating on her swimming pool. And so she's standing in the window watching them, and all of a sudden there's a break in the ice, and one of the Russian women falls under the ice. And she's starts to freak out because she sees this woman go under the water and come up once and go under again. And she races out to get there. But while she's doing the running, she knows there's no way that she's going to be able to make it on time. So as I discussed in Dream Decoding Part 1, which you might want to take a look at, I guess the first thing I did was I went to the feelings to try and uncover what is the meaning in this dream. And of course her response was, well, I felt absolutely helpless. So we take that and definitely write it down. Now, the action in the dream, you can tell from looking at either the action, or if you want to, you can think about the plot. What's the plot? This woman is standing in a window, obviously far away from where this accident is happening, and she has no way to get to this woman to help her out. And so my first question was, what do you think is going on in your life this week? A situation that's making you feel very helpless, and something that you don't feel that you have the control to do anything about? Is there somebody that you'd like to save and you feel like you can't save them? You know, that old story where, for example, we have a friend who drinks too much or whatever, and you know that you don't have that control over changing somebody else. Anyway, it turned out that the dream was about her mother, because her mother was dying. And then when we talked about the symbols, this is we did this one backwards because she figured out what the issue was about. But we did this one backwards, and when you look at the symbols, her mother comes from Russia, and that's why she had the Russians coming to skate, and her mother really was skating on thin ice. And so the dream was there to help that client get a little bit more in touch with the fact that she was feeling a bit out of control about the fact that her mom was growing old and becoming ill and very close to death. And so sometimes our dreams, rather than give us a solution to a problem, which I discuss more in Part 2 and Part 3, in this case, it was more of a rehearsal, because that's another incredible function of your dreams. It's like giving you a workout in a gym. And so here she was preparing for her mother's death, and she was giving herself that feeling of helplessness and what it's going to feel like. And actually, believe it or not, when you get a rehearsal, even for something sad and upsetting, when the actual event happens, if you've been practicing it, then actually you cope a lot better when that thing finally comes along. And of course, as Alfred Adler would have said, the dream gives rise to an emotion to help you move forward towards the goal. And in this case, that would be for her to be talking about this frustration and sadness that she's feeling out in the open. And so that's what the dream wants to do, is to get your attention, to inspire you to speak out. If you want to know more about me, you can find me at dreamsdocometrue.ca.